welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. My name is Chantal, and if especially this is your first time tuning into my channel, let me just start off with saying this is not real money. I am basically going through the process of doing a online or digital form of cash envelope system. This money is all fake money. You can't buy ish with this. So I'm just doing a physical representation of what I'm essentially doing in a digital form. To give you a little bit more information on that, I recommend checking out my earlier videos where I have already posted from my first paycheck doing this, as well as my check-in. Some things worked, some things didn't, but go ahead and check those out to see where I am in the process. So, for those who are returning, you guys may already know what I'm about to say. So, here we go. This is basically just a paper where I am tracking my paychecks, any income I have here, the date, and any of the bills that are coming out of this paycheck. If you watched, I believe, my second video, not the trailer one, obviously, I'll post them up here, where I went over my process. This may look familiar to you already, but we had some hits and misses. So one of my own personal struggles with accomplishing this feat has been my own issues with mental health. And you can get all that in my introduction video. I don't really want to keep rehashing it. Let's just say things have been rough. And unfortunately, when things are rough, I tend to dip into my money more than I should. I know this is an issue. It's something I'm working through. Thankfully, I did not go overboard. But I did dip into things that I hadn't been planning to dip into. So things that I thought were going to have a significant pay down were this card, this card, this card, and that card. Although this one is the one I dipped into the least. Still don't feel good about the fact that I did dip into it at all. As of this morning, I updated all of the amounts that are due on these credit cards. Included, this one is up to date and this one is up to date. These have not changed since I checked them the last time when I made the other video talking about this. Let's open up my visual aid of cash envelope system. I'm going to skip the first envelope because the first envelope is my car insurance. It's due on the 10th of each month. This one obviously is not due to be paid before my next paycheck. Well, I should say the paycheck after this one. So that one I can skip. Now, for anyone who especially is new, I do have another YouTube channel that is monetized, and I gain some small amount of revenue from typically every other month, so this is not necessarily a guaranteed amount. Right now, the only guaranteed amount of money that I have is my paycheck. For the most part, because I am paid on a salary, it's pretty much the same thing every single time I get paid, give or take a penny. Where this amount of money has not yet deposited into my account yet, I cannot add this $100 in yet. But once it does, this $100 is going to go in here. For now, I'm going to keep this set aside. So the next card, this one is due the last day of the month, but I did pay $200 down on it, my previous paycheck, and I'm going to do another $200 on it for this paycheck as well. And you can see because it was $21.79 and currently it's $20.49.22. I've still kept this down. Approximately $122 worth of that payment has still been paid to them. So this additional $200 should make a more significant drop. And this is an extra payment that I'm doing. The next card, which is only due on the 15th of each month, I'm not adding anything extra to it, so I'm skipping that one. I'm also skipping this card that is due on the 17th of each month. This one's statement has not been issued yet, so I do not know what it's going to look like after interest has been applied quite yet. But I will have that information for the next video and I will update it for then. So this next card, obviously you see I didn't pay anything down out of this paycheck. It's actually due the 2nd of each month. So this card is getting a payment of $200. Okay. The next card, which I did already pay out of my first paycheck from the month, is getting a second payment as well because I'm trying to pay that one down faster. And that is also getting $200. So when I started this, it was at $1198.78. It is currently at $1084.78. So essentially I paid down about $114 out of that $200, because like I said, I did make one purchase off of it and that actually happened this morning. But I'm trying not to be too hard on myself because I know the harder I am on myself, the more I tend to beat myself up, the less likely I'll be able to stick with things, and the less likely I will be to praise myself when I accomplish a goal. And that first goal that is going to be accomplished is this one card is going to be paid off out of this next paycheck. And then this card is done. Now, I know on this card I owe $255.48, but a little thing that's important to note is whenever you pay off a card, and having done this before, I can actually guarantee you this will happen. Once you pay off that credit card, they apply interest again, and usually it's about $5 or $6 or something that you'll owe again. So I always try to overpay, taking into account that that additional amount of interest will show up. So if you checked out my what's been working and what's not been working video, you know I've only put $10 on my actual sinking fund checking account. I had planned to put $50 into it. That did not happen. So let me go ahead and actually update that. I had expenses that I wasn't anticipating, like medicine that I had to buy, things of that nature. So this, with exception of this right here, is all sinking funds that are going to go on this card. Now, I did my car maintenance. I got my oil change. It was more expensive than I anticipated, which never makes you feel good, but it is what it is. I drive an older car. My car is literally 11 years old. So, you know, as they get older, things get more expensive. It just comes with the territory. But out of this paycheck, I have my car taxes due. So even though this envelope is empty from having used it, I am going to put in the $170 into this envelope to represent me paying my car taxes. You would think with an 11-year-old car it wouldn't be this expensive, but welcome to living in Connecticut or any of these states that have higher tax rates. Let me put this to the side and let's do some quick math. So, I do have this amount of money being deposited into my account, but it just hasn't shown up yet. It could show up tomorrow for all I know, but until that amount goes through, I'm not doing that $100. So right now we have $1596.88 plus 118.10. So out of that amount will come $100 for this card, $200 for this card, $200 for this card, $200 for this card, $260 for this card, paying it off, $170 for my car taxes. Oh, I screwed up. Sorry. 1 second. Minus 100, minus 200, minus 200, minus 200, minus 260, minus 170, minus. And I always accommodate my gas for around $60. I rarely use that much, but I always try to put that amount aside for whatever. This $60 is going to go on my sinking funds account. So we have 50, 10. I know I have that separate envelope for car maintenance, but if you haven't seen my videos this far, the whole point of this other checking account is to accommodate funds that I'm not necessarily in control of when they come out of the account, how much they're for. I'm actually having difficulty with the banking account that I have that my paycheck gets deposited into. For some reason, even though charges go through and they clear and everything's fine, I will have these ghost charges or duplicate charges show up as pending even though they've already cleared my account. So because of that, I want to try to put anything from apps and streaming services, gas, any of these small amounts that can potentially cause these ghost charges to show up, and put them on this account so that that may not happen anymore. Anything that I can control, when it gets paid, how much gets paid, all of that is going to come out of my primary banking account. All of the bills, like my taxes, will be paid out of my primary banking account. Anything that gets charged whenever it shows up and the amount is actually controlled by the apps or streaming services that I'm subscribed to are going to go out of this card. Because if they try to mysteriously or suddenly increase their pricing or anything of that nature, this way I can ensure that the amount either comes out of this separate sinking funds account, or I'm alerted if there's not enough money in the account that someone may be trying to pull something a little shady. Again, I'll reference a friend of mine, also a fellow YouTuber, Metamorphosis Rocks. If you have not checked out her channel, I recommend her. She actually had it happen where she was subscribed to a platform for her channel, and all of a sudden they went from charging $10 or $11 a month to $75 a month with pretty much no notice. So we are going to make sure that any of these apps or streaming services, anything where they control the amount of money that they're charging and I'm not in control of that, is going to come out of this card as an added layer of protection. in case I decide, okay, that's not working anymore. We're going to cancel that instead of adding the money in to cover it. You know what I mean? So after all of this, I have $524.98 left over. But, and here we go into the miscellaneous category again. I am giving someone $100. This one I'm going to put into a side pocket because this isn't a sinking fund per se. This is just something extra. So there's $100 gone. So now we're at $424.98. I also have to accommodate buying groceries. So I'm going to put aside $200 for that because I hope that it will last me for a couple weeks at the very least. So there's that money. This I will do out of my main banking account, which is why I'm putting it in my miscellaneous funds instead of the other envelope. Because, like I said, this is going to be an amount of money I can control how much it is. For now, I'm going to leave that amount of money in my account because if anything else happens, I want to have some extra funds available, and that way I won't dip into my cards. You know what I mean? I want my payments to be more effective and actually work at paying down the debt that I have instead of reaccumulating it after the fact. So that's my plan for this paycheck. Whatever interest is accrued or anything of that nature, this amount is after the interest. This one is as well. This one is not. This one already was. This one has been, I believe. Yes. This, the interest was accrued on. And this one will be accrued after I pay it off. But I will check in next week to let you guys know how it went. If this maybe worked a little bit better than what I did the last time, where I basically zeroed out the amount of money that I had in my account. Theoretically. I was going to add it to my sinking fund account. That just didn't work as well as I'd hoped. But that's my game plan for now. And we will see next week if this maybe worked a little bit better. And if there's anything else that I need to adjust, we will do so going forward. So I'm going to leave this here for today, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves, please stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye!